Om Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. When the flame dies, neither the flame nor the heat nor the element fire dies. It is only that it has become unmanifest at that particular point. In the same way, the consciousness remains the same reality whether it manifests at any one point or withdraws from it. Nothing happens either to the consciousness or to the manifested world of names and forms. Jnaneshwar Maharaj we are in 7th chapter, Ajnana Khandana, uh, uh, and he's bringing our attention to the consciousness. And just as we saw in meditation, that nothing needs to be done. Wherever we feel that we have to do something, do some sadhana, we are going away from the reality. So here the consciousness, don't look at consciousness as something they are talking about and it manifests and it unmanifests, and in spite it is there. They are talking about you, the real you. So nothing happens either to the consciousness or to the manifested world, meaning nothing is created and nothing is destroyed, and yet everything is going on. The water is neither created nor destroyed, yet multitude of waves are coming and going, created and destroyed. This is the conundrum. When we look at the water and we look at the wave, we can understand. But when we put that example on ourselves, it feels a little bit, oh man, how is that possible that I am continuous? But you have to keep a cool head and think. That waves are the ears, waves are the waking, dream, and deep sleep, waves are the thoughts, waves are the emotions, wave are the concepts. All of them are, wave is the breath, wave is the cell mutation that is going on. Everything is going on. But because of what? What is that? If that is not there, all this happening will stop. That is life. Life is nothing but consciousness expressing through mind. Further examples are given. कानु देलिया सुधाकर आपण पे भरे सागर ना कूर्मी गिड़ी विस्तार आपे आप. Just as in the absence of the moon, all the tides are contained within the ocean, or as the tortoise withdraws all its limbs within. When there is absence of moonlight, that is on the Amavasya, the ocean contains in its womb all the dormant waves which would have manifested had there been a full moon. So do the waves come from outside? Does the tide come from outside? Does the ornament come from outside the gold? Do the directions come outside the space? Or they are contained within the space? So when an ornament melts, where has the ornament gone? It has just become unmanifest. It was gold before, it was gold during, while it was an ornament, and after it's melted, it's still gold. Same way we have to recognize about ourselves that before waking dream and deep sleep, we are consciousness. In and through waking dream and deep sleep, we are consciousness. After waking dream and deep sleep, also we are consciousness. Refine it further. Before the thought, we are consciousness. While the thought is expressing, thought is a wave on the consciousness, made up of consciousness. And after the thought becomes unmanifest, consciousness continues. That is the reality. In the same way, the life of the Triputi of experiencer, experienced, and experience is manifested out of the consciousness and again goes back to the source. This is exactly what I said just now. Triputi here means the subject, object, and the instrument of knowledge. The high tide of these Triputis go back to merge within the ocean. This is our essential nature. Millions of wakers are born, and every experience and every interaction, one independent of the other, not only from one point, but from millions of experiencers, all supported by one pure consciousness, which appears as many but never becomes many. Just like that one consciousness expressing through this body as the mind alone is one without a second. It is manifesting as life, as body, as sentient and insentient, inert and spirit, mind, etc. in the dream. But where do all the dream people, dream beings, inert objects in the dream, where do they go away after you wake up? Do they get destroyed or they became unmanifest? They became unmanifest. And in the dream, they got manifested. They appeared and now they are disappeared. Have they got destroyed? No. Again, some other dream will come next day. Or same one also may appear with some changes. So understand the principle. And how many people are there in the dream? Oh, so many. How many people are there in the waking? Waking is also a dream. Rather than thinking about survival, about me versus them, rather than living an a referential existence as we spoke in the meditation, my validity as a woman, my validity as a various roles that I'm playing are dependent on the references. The mother is with reference to children, grandmother is with reference to grandchildren, wife is with reference to husband. These are all Gaunatma. But are you Gaunatma? What is the common denominator behind all these roles? The body. Life expressing through body. Life expressing through this body is called what? It is called Mithyatma. Is it only this? Just like so many roles are coming and going, each role has its own mind. A mother can only think from point of view of children. No other thought will come into her mind. Wife will think only from point of view of husband, with reference to husband. No other thought will come in her mind. If the children thought comes, immediately she takes the role of mother. So also, but she's always the woman. Same way, recognize that this entire waking world, dream world, deep sleep world, everything is an expression of that one consciousness. And even though it is expressing as the multitudes of beings in these two planes, waking and dream, but nothing has happened to the consciousness. Consciousness ever remains the same. See? The second example is that of the tortoise, which expands and extends 6 limbs, 4 legs, head and tail. The Pancha Jnanendriyas and the mind, when it does not want to contact the outer world, it withdraws them within itself. So the whole thing is tortoise. When it wants to move around, it expands all the 6 limbs. And at other times, it withdraws and is at rest. In the same way, so just like the tortoise with its 6 limbs expands and contracts, similarly, the mind also contracts and expands. What is this contraction and expansion? Contraction is deep sleep, expansion is waking and dream. For whom it is happening? For the mind. Which mind? All the minds. So can we say that mind as a principle is continuously contracting and expanding? Yes. When you take mind as a principle, then it is called Maya, then it is called Shakti, then it is called Avyakta. That is its nature. And is that total mind or Avyakta Shakti, is it separate from the Supreme Being? No. It is its potentiality. What can be done about it? Nothing. If you try to do something, then you will get exhausted because you didn't start it. Then what to do? Understand this is how it all functions and enjoy. How? Again, question will come. How? Why? By just being the constant one. In the same way, the pure consciousness manifests in the form of no or known knowledge or withdraws in the form of the absence of this trio. This is an eternal game. Therefore, as I said, you did not start this game. It is going on. Accept. All you have to do is accept that it is like this only. This is an eternal game. The problems of the world have the same biography. In the language of Bhagwan Ramana Maharishi, there is only one solution. Know thyself. Abide in yourself, as the pure consciousness, without allowing any reference to define who you are. If you take the position of subject, there is I. If you take the reference of an object, then father, mother, daughter, sister. You take the reference of the body, then I am this mind, I am these senses, I am breathing, I don't want to die, I have to survive. Get out of all this. And don't ask how. Recognize this whole phenomena. Phenomena is that which appears but actually is not there. So this is also a phenomena. Adan Pradan of satsang. This is also a phenomena. But the topic in this phenomena is If we are available, we can transcend while listening. I is the only reality. All modifications, health, disease, sukha, dukkha, etc. come and go. Therefore, let us leave the world where it is and accept everyone as he or she is and learn to regard even imperfections as his glory. Let us love everyone, one and all. This is our Satya Sai Baba's statement. Love all, serve all. When you love all, automatically service towards all begins. And that service means not disturbing them. Service doesn't mean go, yes, at a very gross level, feed them, go and do seva, stand in the queue, maintain the crowds, all that is okay. But the greatest service is that you do not disturb the all by thought, word, and deed. Even greater than that is acceptance of the all, not separate from you. And that acceptance, whether it expresses as meditation, whether it expresses as japa, whether it expresses as puja, whether it expresses as uh, 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 going and serving the poor people or the devotees of the Lord, let him decide. Who are you to say, I am doing the seva? When you say, I am doing the seva, then you have become a social worker. You want to impose your views on the others. When it is happening naturally, that's the way. Still another example is taken. आवसेचिये दिवसी सतराविये अंशी स्वये जैसे shashi rigane hoya. Just as on the new moon day the moon gets absorbed in her 17th phase, on the Amavasya night all the 16 phases of the moon are absorbed in the 17th, just as the entire moonlight is absorbed in the absence of the moon from our vision. The total world of names and forms gets totally absorbed in the pure consciousness from where the whole world has come. When does that happen? That happens in the sleep. When the whole unmanifestation of the waking and the dream begins, it happens slowly, phases of the moon. And when it eventually happens, when the last thought also gets absorbed, becomes unmanifest. That is the 17th day. Conclusion reached is तैसे दृश्य जिणता द्रष्टे पडिले जाईतचिये कुटे तया नाव वावटे आपणपया. When the objective world, drushya, is removed and seer, drashta, gets the credit of conquering the objective world, in fact, this subjective existence without triputi is the pure self. Triputi without the subject. How is that possible? Don't think that every thought that appears is a play of triputi, subject, object, instrument of knowledge. Knower, known, knowing, seer, seen, seeing, hearer, heard, hearing, and so on. But who are these seer, hearer, experiencer, knower? They are all I. Now question is, Are you the I with reference to the seen? Are you the I with reference to the heard? Are you the I with reference to the experienced? Then that I takes the form of seer, hearer, experiencer, knower. But when there is no reference, when there is no seen, there is no known, there is no heard, there is no experienced, this is one way of looking at it. When there is no reference, then what happens to the I? The I thought also dissolves, goes back to its own source. And that I am. And after that, again the mind clicks in. Again the Triputi begins. Again the seer seen, seeing, hearer heard hearing, knower known knowing begins. But then again I get, if I give value to the objects, I alone was the supreme subject. I alone was the subject, the individual. I alone was the mind. In the mind, I alone was the subject with reference to the object. Now I have realized I am the supreme subject in spite of the Triputi. I am the supreme subject. I am the pure self. I am the I, independent of the object. Just like you know, you are the woman in spite of all the roles that you are playing. Because you are playing the role, the woman doesn't vanish. Roles cannot express without the woman. All that happens is you forget you are the woman, therefore the roles become more important and we suffer on account of the roles. See? Exactly the same way. In spite of the Triputi, be the substratum. Let the Triputis come and go. And the subject in the Triputi, the I, if you give importance to the sub-object, then you are the seer, scenes, etc. If you are unaffected by the object, then you are the witness. When there is no reference, then the witness has also got no reason to exist. The witnessing also stops. And in its place, the pure consciousness. Because the witness also goes back to its Chinmudra. It goes back to its own source. So who was the witness? That pure consciousness. The eternal game of life is happening. So what is that pure consciousness which is undisturbed by the coming and goings of the Triputis, coming and going of the Panchakoshas, coming and going of the subject-object, space-time and objectivity? What is that? Undisturbed consciousness. That is the witness. At the totality level, he is called as Ishvara. And wherever you lose that position of witnessing and get identified with one or the other reference, immediately contraction of consciousness takes place, crystallization of consciousness takes place, and that total consciousness, that infinite consciousness, which was expressing as the witness, undisturbed by what was coming and going, now crystallizes into a person, into an individuality. That individuality is also okay. But that individuality again gets crystallized into and gets locked in. So individuality was what? With reference to this body. This is individuality. Crystallization of total consciousness with reference to this body is called individual consciousness. Live as individual, as a jiva, no problem. Jiva is a continuous being. He never comes and goes. But no, we are smart. We are more intelligent than the consciousness. Then what do? This crystallized consciousness, which is a natural phenomena taking place, that is life expressing through this body, it gets locked on to not just this body, it starts getting locked on, identified with other bodies. And then the roles start coming up. What are the roles? Father, mother, daughter, sister, Gaunatma. That is even further crystallization of that consciousness. Where are these father, mother, daughter, sister existing? In their absence. Where is the individual consciousness existing? In its own absence. Where is the total consciousness existing? In its own absence. It's a phenomena. Then what is the pure consciousness? That which is one without a second, but appearing as many. When will this stop? It will not stop. It is continuous. It is an eternal process, eternal game that is going on. Catch this game and you are free. Don't be serious about this game of life. In this OV, Jnaneshwar Maharaj gives an expression of deep significance. There are two interpretations possible. First, as given in the example, when the eyes are closed, the vision is absorbed. When there is Amavasya, the tides are absorbed. In the tortoise, all of its limbs are withdrawn. In the new moon, all the kalas are absorbed. In the same way, the plurality of names and forms gets absorbed in the seer. In the seer. Seer means here drashta. Drashta here means the observer. Another word, witness. The moment the seen is absorbed in the seer ceases to be a seer because there is nothing to see. Thereafter, the seer-seen duality ends. He is the seer, this is the seen. And as these are getting absorbed, what is all this? All this is consciousness. What are all the waves? Nothing but consciousness, nothing but water. What is all these five? Nothing but consciousness. That consciousness, just like what are the four elements? Air, fire, water, earth? Nothing but their base is the Akash, space. Out of space, air came. Out of space and air, the fire came. Out of space, air, fire, the water came. And out of the four, the earth came. So out of consciousness, the individual consciousness came, the subject came, the drashta came, the I came, and the objects came. When this fellow is identified with these objects, he is called an individual. When he is disidentified and when he is identified with these objects, more and more thoughts, more and more crystallization is continuously taking place. Crystallization here means getting locked into your personality deeper and deeper. But the moment you come to a satsang, you are reminded you are the witness. In that witnessing, what is happening? No value giving or importance giving to these objects is taking place. When there is no value giving and importance being given to these objects, they start losing their momentum. Water with momentum is called a river. River can drown. So the momentum of these thoughts, momentum of these objects, references, they start slowing down because there is no one getting identified. Inert object cannot be identified with inert object. Only consciousness can get identified with inert. And that consciousness we have taken to be ourselves, I. But why we are taking it I? It is because that I is called I with reference to that. This is that. Now I have recognized I am that. I am in spite of that. I am the constant principle. So the moment I disengage myself from the objects, the momentum, the power of these objects starts diminishing. When there is nothing to appear as over a period of time, everything starts dissolving by itself, just like when you go to sleep. But what is happening here? In sleep, you go into a no man's land, go gaga land. Here, as the objects, the seen, the heard, the known, the experienced, all that is appearing as an object for you. Space, time, objectivity, all is object only. As they start losing their momentum, out of habit, out of samskaras, they will keep coming. That maybe once this fellow gives me attention, and I will, when we are on the scooter or in the car, you press the accelerator, the car goes. Then you take your foot off the accelerator, the car is still going. If you take the foot off the accelerator, car is still moving, but the speed is slowing down. If you don't put your foot again on the accelerator, car will come to a standstill. So to keep it going, you have to keep pushing the accelerator. So this is the accelerator. There is a driver in the car or scooter who is conscious, who is pressing the accelerator. These objects cannot have a momentum if someone does not identify with it. That identification is the accelerator. You're understanding? So now he has taken the foot off. So the momentum is slowing down. When it completely slows down, this fellow, before he was identified, now he is disidentified. In that disidentification with the objects, the momentum of the objects have slowed down. And where did they come from? Will we say they came from nowhere? Will we say the waves came from nowhere? Where did the waves come from? From the water. Where did they exist? In the water. Where do they go back? Into the water. Where did the subject and object come from? Consciousness. Where they are existing? In the consciousness. Where do they go back? To the consciousness. Before we had lost the plot, now we have become witnessing consciousness. And we are calling this I as, first I was father, mother, daughter, sister. Now it has become the witness of all the roles, witness of everything. And we call it witnessing consciousness. Witnessing consciousness with reference to witnessed. In father, mother, daughter, sister, seer, seen, her, seer, hearer, experiencer, knower, there was identification with the object. Therefore, the role was being played. When there is disengagement with the object, then that instead of the seer, only the witness is there. Instead of the knower, only the witness is there. Instead of the hearer, only the witness is there. Instead of the experiencer, only the witness is there. The momentum is slowing down. The experience, the known, the heard, the seen, the smelt, all that is going on, but the momentum is going down, slowing down. And this fellow, it is slowing down only because this fellow is no longer the seer, hearer, touch, feeler, knower, experiencer. He is the witness. Witness means he who is not disturbed by any object that is appearing and disappearing. He is not giving value. The resultant is eventually all the objects will dissolve, all the references will dissolve. Then when all the witnessed has dissolved, will the witnessing conscious be called witnessing consciousness? It was given the name witness because it was witnessing something. Now it is not witnessing something, because there is no reference. Then what happens to the witnessing consciousness? It goes back to being itself, the real one. Was it not the real one when it was witnessing? Yes, it was. But it was why? Because of the nature of the consciousness to manifest and unmanifest as Triputi, there is a full possibility that the witness can again become identified with the objects and again take the roles. So this recognizing that this fellow is actually this, the Paramatma Tattva. Once this is known, the mind will again click in, again the objects will come, but now in and through, after this dip in the consciousness as the consciousness, life will continue, but no personality will be born. People will see the personality, people will see individuality. But the one who has taken a dip in the consciousness, his vision has changed. He sees everything as one. Therefore undisturbed. And such people are the wise ones, the saints and sages. Second option here given is, in the second interpretation, the drishya is dependent on the drashta. That is, when it is said that the seen is absorbed in the seer, the duality of the seer-seen is accepted, and it is as if the drashta is conquering or stealing away the seen. So when it is told that these are all melting away, dissolving away, or through some sadhana, we say, I am undisturbed by what is going on, then what is happening to all the objective thoughts? They are going back to their source. They are going back to the unmanifest. When the individual wave recognizes that I am the ocean, what will be its disposition? Once it has realized it is the ocean, can it go back to being the wave? Can it go back to being the wave? But how come the wave is remaining a wave and experiencing the ocean? But is the ocean not innate through every wave? Is the ocean not expressing in and through? Or if we take the Nirgun Nirakar water, is the water not expressing in and through every wave? So the wave has realized that it is water, and after the realization, or at the moment of realization, for the outside world, the wave is still there. But the one who was saying, I am this, then this wave, that I has dissolved into the infinity. Wave continues according to its destiny. This is what is the second point. This is a fallacious interpretation. The ocean never has the thought that all the waves have come out of me and are going back to me. Ocean will never say that all the waves have come out of me and gone back to me. Why? From ocean's point of view, it is everything. It is complete. Because of coming and going of the waves, ocean has not become less or more. Because of the body become healthy and unhealthy, have you become less or more? Are you experiencing joys and sorrows? Because of coming and going of waking, dream and deep sleep, are you becoming less and more, less or more? Think. You are ever the same, constant. The ocean never has the thought that all the waves have come out of me and are going back to me. This is only the view of one of the waves. This is only the view of the absolute from the relative angle. Only a relative meaning when you have taken a referential status, accepted yourself as a referential being, then only these type of thoughts can come. Language comes where there is referential existence. Where there is non-referential existence, language stops.
Swamiji, would you be able to explain that the first one and the second one still, to me, sort of, it's still confused. Like it looks like the same. First thought and the second thought. Two interpretations.
Yeah, you think about it. I'm not repeating the same thing again.
Okay, Swamiji, thanks.
See, you don't get lost in too much analysis. Point is, we want to work out 1 point, 2 point, 3 point, 4 point. Then our understanding is on the points. Our attention is on the points. By studying this, have we come here to determine the points and remember the points? Or have we come to study to be the consciousness? That is important. And if I explain also again, how much you are going to remember? Is it something to remember? Or is it something to be? No, but I will remember, then I will be. Then you will never reach the point. Never reach the destination. Because we are trying to reach the destination through memory. Memory cannot take us there. It happens in this moment. Come to the constant principle. You are the constant principle. As I'm explaining the wave and the ocean and the wave and the water, apply it on yourself, not just create a concept in your mind. Apply it on yourself at this very moment. And
Yes,
remain
Swamiji, thank you.
and remain undisturbed by the words, ideas that the teacher, the text is explaining. The explanation is not to be accepted by the student or the seeker or the sadhaka as a concept to be worked on later. We are going through this Amrutanubhav so that while we are listening, while we are talking, while we are interacting with this text, we abide. Because this is the outcome of the realization of a great saint called Jnaneshwar Maharaj. He is trying to put across his experience of his realization because his guru asked him. So he's trying to articulate it to the best of his ability. But the articulation is such that no concept must be formed. He's making sure of that. If you say, I did not understand, then we are converting it into a concept, into an understanding.
Sorry, Swamiji, it's okay that we can move on.
No, I'm not mentioning but it's a good point that you asked.
That's okay, yeah. Thanks, Swamiji.
It's a good point because sometimes we all fall into that trap. See? So Jnaneshwar Maharaj is trying his best to put it across what his teacher has asked him. But how can you talk about the self, which is beyond words, which is beyond mind? So he has to use such a language which does not leave behind a memory, which does not leave behind a concept, because self is not a concept. Concept is at the intellectual level. It's not a feeling. Feeling is at the mind level. Self is not an object of contemplation. It is not at the sensory level. I cannot see, hear, touch, feel, taste self. So he has to do something. So he's looking at it from many, many different angles in the various chapters and giving innumerable number of examples. But we have to be alert not to get caught up in the words. We have to, these words are directing our attention to the consciousness that we are. So when it is told that the drashta is dependent on the drishya, what is it say? The drishya is dependent on the drashta. That means the object is dependent on the subject. Object is inert, subject is always conscious. But what is our life? Our life is drashta, the seer, is dependent on the drashta, drishya, the object. I cannot live without my house, I cannot live without my bed, I cannot live without food, I cannot live without breath, I cannot live without my husband, I cannot live without my children, I cannot live without my memories. This is what has this become? This is you seeing, observing this everywhere. So what is this? The seer dependent on this fellow, all these objects. What is the Jnaneshwar Maharaj trying to tell us? That this fellow is independent of all this. And the only way to be independent is give zero value to these. think of some higher thought. What is that higher thought? That this one alone, the pure consciousness alone, is expressing at 2 points, one as consciousness, one at inertness. Inertness is always dependent on consciousness. Consciousness, when it is with reference to the inertness, it is called I. But if there is no inertness, there is no object, does the subject called the I need to express itself as I? I as a thought. Does it need to express as a I thought? No. Then what happens? It goes back to its original. Just this needs to click. See. So here he says, the ocean, so when it goes back to its origin, and if we take the second point, the B point, if we say waves are dependent on the ocean, all the waves are coming out of the ocean, ocean is independent of all the waves, it is supporting all the waves. We say that, isn't it? It is expressing in and through all the waves. Who is saying this? The one who is not ocean, he is saying that. The wave is saying, the wave is studying the scriptures. You and me are the waves. We are studying the scriptures. And the wave has been given the example of ocean and wave. You and me are the wave. We are given the example of consciousness, total consciousness, and individual consciousness. That consciousness is in and through all the individual beings. It is it alone has become the space, air, fire, water, earth. It alone has become the subject and object. It alone has become the instrument of knowledge. When it is not interested in the object, that consciousness has become the witnessing consciousness. When there is no object to be witnessed, then that witnessing consciousness goes back to its source. This whole thing, what I just now told you in 30 seconds, is a story. It is not reality. You can only tell stories about phenomena. You tell this to the ocean, oh, thank you for supporting all the waves. Thank you for expressing in and through all the waves. Thank you for allowing us to come into existence, oh darling ocean. And thank you for taking us back into your bosom, oh dear ocean. And what is ocean's disposition? He doesn't even give you credence. It doesn't even value your existence. Whose existence? The one who's saying. Because from ocean's point of view, he is complete. There is no otherness in it. So where's the question of subject-object? Think. Where's the question of subject-object from ocean's point of view? From ocean's point of view, there are no waves. Because he alone is everything. From ocean's point of view, there is no creation, maintenance, and destruction of waves. There is no appearance and manifestation and unmanifestation of the Triphuti called the wave. From ocean's point of view. So from consciousness point of view, everything is the consciousness. There is no appearance of what you call Triputi and dissolution of Triputi, manifestation and unmanifestation of Triputi. Nope. No, but we are reading it. This is for the individual who is not accepting he is the infinite. Some language has to be used so that you move away from crystallization to dissolution, to decrystallization of your consciousness. And decrystallization simply means less and less references to define yourself. And when the last reference is gone, you are that which you are seeking. You see? There is only the view of, it is only one view of the wave. All this language is for the wave. That wave is this individual, that individual, this individual. We are trying to understand that which cannot be understood. Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasa saha. Pure consciousness is that which is beyond words and scope of the words, and which is beyond the comprehension of the mind. That means mind cannot conceptualize it. It cannot emotionalize it. Then what about Vedas? Then what about the 64 Vidyas? All that is good. But it is for the individual. Then what about the rishis? They are great individuals. Immortal individuals. What about gods? They are total individuals. So consciousness appearing at, just like it is appearing as subject and object, similarly that consciousness through its potentiality is expressing as microcosm and macrocosm. But as much as subject and object, these two ideas are existing in their own absence, similarly micro and macro are also existing in their own absence. Just like as we saw in the meditation, inside and outside is only a concept of the mind. It is not the reality. Space is the reality. Husband, wife, etc. are not the reality. Man or woman are the reality. Be the reality. In the next OV, the Paramatma is defined in the most beautiful way as Sahaja, naturally effortless existence. And whatever we have spoken today, or we have been speaking for so many classes, nothing needs to be done. While listening, be. If studying, interacting with this text of Jnaneshwar Maharaj, if the feeling comes, now I have to do something, you are losing the plot. Doing is done by a doer. Doer is the expression of ego. Ego can never realize itself. Ego is also an appearance. Sahaje avadhechi ahe, tari kavana kavana pahe, tena dekhaneci ahe, swarupa nidra. The world is naturally effortless existence. In that case, Who will see whom? Natural question that will come. If everything is the same, if everything is water, how can water see water? If everything is ocean, how can ocean see ocean? If everything is space, how can space see space? If everything is gold, how can gold see ornaments? Not possible. This non-seeing of otherness is self-abidance. This is the only language. In this language only we can communicate. When there are no thought eruptions in the mind and you are awake, that state, that disposition is self-realization. The self is effortless, natural existence where pure knowledge is evident. Where is the question of the seer and seen? Who will know what? But then why did you introduce seer and seen and confuse us in the previous two verses? We are trying to... Our thinking is very gross. Our thinking is gross on account of references. First, it was about I am the teacher, you are the taught, you are the student. Two different beings. From there, the attention was brought to the subject and object. Then it was told subject is the conscious principle and object is the inert principle. Subject is always one, object keeps changing. Then it was told subject and object both are nothing but made out of the material called consciousness alone, which is mind alone. And mind, the nature of the mind is pure consciousness. Pure consciousness is called mind when it as if appears as two, subject and object. But why did you introduce subject and object? Because that is what you are experiencing yourself as right now as an individual. When we tell you you are pure consciousness, you don't want to accept. You want analysis, you want to work it out. You want to do sadhana. Because you are not accepting you are the pure consciousness. So some story has to be created. So this is the story according to the scriptures, according to the Lord, according to the totality. And what is that? The Gaunatma, the Mithyatma and the Mukhyatma. That first we are shown that everything is separate. Then we are shown that even that those opposites are made out of the same material. And then we are told you are not the referential existence. If you give value to the references, you have a referential existence. If there is no reference to interact with, then you are the reality. So a process is given to your mind. This is for your mind. This is not for your consciousness. This is for your mind. Seeker is in the mind. Seeking is in the mind. Consciousness is ever complete. The idea of individuality is in the mind. The idea of sadhana is in the mind. The idea that I am an individual and God's grace may be bestowed upon me to realize, this is all game going on in the mind. This idea that infinite reality is called Satchidanand, that reality is called the witnessing consciousness, that reality is called the Chidakash. All this is to impress upon the mind, nothing to do with consciousness. And once we understand all this, accept all this, then we are told mind itself is nothing but consciousness. And then we are told in the previous chapters here that consciousness is an abuse to that reality. Now, what will you do? Then you're told Satchidanand also cannot be a name given to that reality. And that reality you are. You cannot call yourself anything, and yet you are. But you have been trained from childhood till today and lifetimes to accept yourself as a referential one. With reference to something, you give yourself an identity. So slowly, from gross to subtle, from subtle to the transcendental. Micro is because of a macro. Waves are because of the ocean. Initially, it is okay. But you cannot live at that level for the whole life. Because somewhere along that way, along that journey, the question will pop up that the ocean and the waves are nothing but water. So where is the question of cause and effect? We have to transcend cause and effect. We have to transcend micro and macro. We have to transcend creator and created. We have to transcend subject and object. We have to transcend inside and out. Space is beyond inside and outside. Space is beyond the 10 directions. The sun is beyond day and night. The man is beyond all the roles that he is playing. The mind is beyond all the thoughts that it is allowing to appear in its bosom, on its surface. So slowly, such examples are given. Now, if you look at these examples, everything in nutshell I have told you just now. If you look at these examples, what concept can be formed? If you are looking at it objectively, very good information. This is very good. I will write PhD on it. Do it. But that is not our intention. That is not the intention of Jnaneshwar Maharaj. He wants us to catch it here and now and be that which is beyond all the opposites. The self is effortless natural existence where pure knowledge is evident. Where is the question of the seer and the seen? Who will know what? See, knowledge here is self-evident, does not mean knowledge through thoughts. Thoughts can be only about some objective knowledge. We have to take the objective knowledge and transcend, then it is wisdom. So knowledge being self-evident means it is a thought-free knowledge. It doesn't require a medium of thoughts to reveal itself. It is not a result of thinking. It is not a result of emotion. It is not a result that some equation you have worked out and now the X factor has been revealed. No, it is not. What does effortless existence mean? Where there is individuality, there is a purpose. See, purpose? There is a cause and effect. There is a purpose. Everyone wants to know, why am I born? Where am I going? What is my destination? There is where there is individuality, there is a purpose, a thought of achievement, a fear of loss, possibility of extinction, etc. Therefore, wherever there is individuality, there is a feeling to search for immortality. Search for immortality. We want to be complete. We want to be indestructible. Watch around you or watch yourself. This is what your whole survival game is. No, but I'm not afraid of death. The fact that in your mind the thought of death has come and you are saying, I'm not afraid of death, itself proves that you are still an individual. See? So here he says that all these, there is a purpose, there is a thought of achievement, a fear of loss, possibility of extinction, survival, referential existence, all this is at individuality level. When effort, and in this area, to protect yourself from loss, to protect yourself from death, to elongate your life, effort is required. And the individual puts efforts. We are putting efforts right now. If your attention is on, I have to understand, then there is efforts. Where effort is involved, truth is far away. Effortlessness is the manifestation of divinity. The moment we become effortless, all the urge to do something, to understand something, to conceptualize something, to experience something as an experience, all this will go away. I cannot experience the self like I'm experiencing you right now. You are objective. I am seeing you. I am having the experience of myself in the reflection here. I am having the experience of you, all people who are listening. And I programmed myself that this is how the experience happens. But can I experience myself in this manner? When I'm experiencing myself as an object, like I'm experiencing you as an object, then it will be I am this body. Subtle object, I am the thought. When all thoughts are gone, oh, I went to sleep. No, remain awake. When the thoughts unmanifest, remain awake. If you are awake and all the thoughts have diminished, dissolved, that which remains behind is the truth. That which remains behind is the pure consciousness. That is the reality. But we are afraid of our non-existence. And we give that non-existence. I think I'm losing my mind. I think I'm having dementia. I think I'm not remembering anything. How will my life continue if I don't remember anything? How will I, if I forget that I have to do japa, how will I be practicing spirituality? Unwanted thinking going on. Why you want to elongate the journey? You are what you are seeking here and now, at this very moment. Accept. Be. And this whole thing, contemplation that is taken, is only to dull your mind. So you stop thinking, stop coming to conclusions. Such examples are given that no, you say you are understanding, but actually no understanding can take place. Ornaments are dependent on gold, understood. Gold is alone expressing through all the ornaments, understood. But gold does not know that there are ornaments, not understood from gold's point of view. Because this statement was made by someone who is not gold. You are watching the gold and the ornament and making these statements. Gold is not making that statement. All the waves are in the ocean. You are making the statement. Ocean is not making the statement. Ocean is present in and through all the waves. You are making that statement. Ocean is not making that statement. And suddenly a jump is taken. From ocean's point of view, there is no multiplicity. Yet it supports all the multiplicity. Maya tatamidam sarvam jagadavyakta murtina. What have you understood? That he's supporting everything, yet he's transcendental. What understanding have you come to? Because the conclusion of this statement is a conclusion-less conclusion. And it can be only realized subjectively. It cannot be realized conceptually. And this is the intention of the scriptures, to bring you to this point where you cannot hold on to any damn thing. Nor this, nor that. Nor the subject, nor the object. Nor the subject I, nor the objective thought. Can't catch the inside nor outside. Can't catch the directions, can't catch the space. Can't catch the outside space, can't catch the mental space. When you have stopped dividing the space into outside space and inside space, then you are with the conscious space. See? Where effort is involved, truth is far away. Effortlessness is the manifestation of divinity. The sun sheds light unasked and expects no appreciation. That effortlessness is termed as swatmani sthitaha. Swatmani sthitata, abiding in the self. See? We stop here, contemplate, be the effortless existence, be. Don't try to work it out. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Just sit quietly for a moment. Hari Om.